Hello, and welcome to today's SCORE webinar. My name is Kayla, and I will be the moderator for today's session. The title of today's presentation is Strategies and Tips for Outsourcing for Small Business Owners. And I'd like to introduce the presenter of today's webinar, Brian Freed, inventor, speaker, coach, author, radio, and TV host.
I'd like to just start off by taking a poll. So here's the question. At what stage of your business are you? Maybe you have a product or a service and you're just at the beginning. It's an idea in your head, or maybe you're somewhere along the way. Or do you already have a product or service that's in the market that you're offering to the consumers? So I think you can answer that now or later on in the presentation. So thank you for that. So I am an inventor. I have 15 issued patents. When I say that I'm an inventor, it's interesting because when you come up with an idea, it's not that you're just an inventor, you're actually starting a business. There's so many things that you need to do from the idea that's just in your head till bringing it to market, whether it's a product, whether it's a business, a service that you're going to offer. There's so many different stages that happen along the way. And we're kind of on our own, right? It's something that we get very excited about, we get emotional about. Maybe it's something that can change our life. It's going to make us a gazillion dollars. Maybe it's for residual income. Maybe it's a side hustle. Whatever it is, you're coming up with an idea. You started a business. Maybe you're somewhere along the way, or you're actually in business today. And how did you get there? But let's go back to those who are building the business, or maybe they just have the idea in their head. So like I mentioned, I have 15 issued patents and I've licensed products. So I earn royalties from them. I've earned royalties from them. I also manufacture products locally and overseas. And I authored a book called How to Make Money with Your Invention Idea. I have two other books besides this. This is my latest one. I have an app called the Inventor Smart Community app. I run the National Inventor Club. My products have been seen in major retailers, and I was on air on QVC for about 3 years. And I'll show you some of the inventions along the way, just because, like I said, when you're coming up with an idea, you're kind of going through business. And I'm going to share my experience with you of starting businesses. So as I've been doing this, other people started to ask me for help. And then I started to get more into the problem solution, business consulting, invention consulting, and just kind of going through and talking to so many people out there. It's like, okay, I have this great idea. What do I do next? And how do I get the information and the resources and the people or companies to be able to help me to get there? So that's why outsourcing success, building your virtual team. So there's so many people that there's different words for outsourcing, I think. Freelancers, you might have heard of. VAs, what does that mean? Virtual assistants. Outsourcing, which is on the slide here. There's so many different types of ways for people to say what they need. Even before this webinar today, there were people on LinkedIn who were connected up with me, and they said, are you going to mention something about fractional human resources or fractional CMOs, chief marketing officers, or maybe it's a CEO. Maybe you want a fractional CEO. So there's a lot of ways to kind of think about who it is and what you need to look for to be able to start to outsource, or really about building your virtual team. So why outsource? Let's go to this slide. Well, what does that all mean? So we're a one-man show or one-woman show, or just trying to figure out how to get to the next steps. We came up with this idea. It's a business idea. It's a product idea. And what do we do next? Well, one of the first things to do is figure out what it is that you need to do, right? Is it, do you need a business plan? And do I need to figure out the next steps of, can I do this on my own? Do I need to hire somebody full time or part time? How am I going to get this going? Like, okay, so if I start to manufacture or I put this out and it starts to take off, am I ready? Can I handle all that? I'm not sure. And then what do you do with the money that it's going to cost for this? If I hire somebody full time or if I work with a freelancer or as a part time? And then where do I find these people? Are they local? Are they overseas? Are they in another state? So these are the things that I think about when well, now I think about it, but when you first come up with an idea, it's like you're ready to take off. And sometimes when you're doing it over and over, you start to realize that there's kind of a journey that you need to figure out along the way. So what are the challenges? What are the challenges about working with somebody from the outside or adding somebody to your mix? And the challenges could be, well, look, for me, I was doing things so long for myself and by myself that I know particularly what I want and how I want it to look and how I want it to function and what I envision for things to happen in the way that I want. And then also, who's going to make the decisions for me? Is it something that I'm going to look and review step by step along the way? I just happened to launch a platform yesterday, and now I'm starting to get into press releases, which I actually I had a press release done, and then I had somebody do some social media activity, making up marketing initiatives, the website. There's so many things along the way that you need to do when you're coming up with this idea, this business, or along the way. What are the things that you do need to come up with? Well, first is probably the research, right? And I know that SCORE, which I'm a very strong advocate for SCORE, they have advisors and mentors to be able to help you. They have resources that are available, small business development centers in your area, which are divisions of the Small Business Administration, both at SCORE and SBDC, Small Business Development Center. You're a part of SCORE already today. Small Business Development Center is another amazing resource for you. So research is something that's really important. So there's free resources out there and support, but then maybe you want to work with somebody to do the research. Is this a viable invention, product, business, app idea, whatever it is? Is it something that there's a million different versions of them out there? But what's going to make mine different? How am I going to stand out from the crowd? And these are the things that I think about when I'm coming up with an idea. And then I have the marketing perspective. So maybe I make a business plan. Maybe I need drawings. Maybe I need to do some map minding. I have a chance now. I'm 51. I'm taking my master's degree in business administration, and I'm taking a design thinking class, which is right up my alley. And it's so interesting that there's so many different resources and tools available, but maybe you're limited on time, or maybe you choose not to learn those things. And there's people out there or companies that are able to help and support you along the way. And then even surveys, right? You're going through the iterations. I have inventions that I have 7 prototypes in, and it's still not exactly how I want. And I have to figure out, is this a good idea? Is it a good price that I may come up with after figuring out all the parts and pieces and the costs? Is it something that I need to figure out the quality, the color, maybe the niche that I'm going for? Is it primary for that particular niche? And everything I do, I'm kind of looking at the way that all this is happening and kind of putting it together. So, how do I find all these people? Okay, so let me just put you through my kind of journey. When I come up with an idea, whether it's a business idea, and I get to see a lot of people starting businesses from their inventions, even. they come up with this idea and they have this one product and then they start to build a brand out of it. Maybe they have another invention within the same industry, or maybe they add existing products to what they have to be able to expand their market, their basket of opportunity when somebody does come in, that they're able to not just see their invention or their product or their anchor product, but to see all these other products for building a brand. And what I do is, okay, so I need to do some market research. Easily, what I do is I go online and I search to see if there's things that are available or that are similar to what's already existing. So when people are coming to me with app ideas and business ideas, we look to see who it is that you're going to be comparing to. And you can find somebody to do some market research for you. You can have somebody do a business plan for you. And I'm kind of navigating through between my invention and businesses that are out there. And then what about intellectual property protection? Is it something that you can call your own? Or is it somebody else's idea? And if it is, well, that's okay, as long as you're not infringing on somebody else's intellectual property. So maybe you need to get an IP attorney involved. If it's a product, if it's a business, do you have enough of a difference? Is there something within this business that you're coming up with that is kind of showing a new method out there that maybe you can protect? Is it a trademark? Could you have a good trademarkable name that's going to differentiate you compared to other businesses that are out there? Do you have enough marketing dollars and a marketing plan to be able to let people know that your product or your idea already exists? I'm going to show you one, for example. So one night I came home from going out to dinner and I had no room left in my fridge and I wanted to put the leftovers away. And unfortunately, like I said, there was no room left, but I saw that there was a carton of eggs. There was still a little space above it left. And I opened up the carton of eggs and there was one egg left. So I'm like, that's a waste. So what I did was I tried to figure out something, but it ended up being something like this. It's a collapsible egg tray. So as you put your eggs in and you take your eggs out, it collapses until you just need that much space in the refrigerator. So I call this extra space. It's a collapsible egg tray. So if I'm going on and I'm trying to offer this to people out there, who's going to know that a collapsible egg tray even exists when you go on, let's say, Amazon and you're looking to buy something or an egg tray, right? So I have to spend extra marketing dollars to be able to have people know that this product already exists. And the same thing with one of my other products called the paper towel topper. So, when your hands are wet or dirty, you usually put them on top of the paper towel roll. Well, not anymore. I have this paper towel topper that goes on top. And now when your hands are wet or dirty, you put it on top and you pull the sheet off and it stays clean and dry. So developing from the start till getting to the marketing point, you need to let people know that your idea exists. So that's an important aspect of marketing as well. And then working with, whether it's manufacturers, working with programmers and the app stores and doing the surveys and figuring out how you're going to find these people, right? It's overwhelming. And as you do it over and over again, it gets a lot easier. But to start with, what can you do? How can you get things started? So what I've done over the years is I've built a team and I've used various websites that are for freelancers, VAs, outsourcing, whatever you want to call them. And I was going to spend a little time to show you how I actually do it. And for those of you who are offering some service out there, well, look, you can look at this webinar as a way to be able to find and build a team for yourself. And at the same time, if you're a service provider or you do offer a service, you can be one of those people to help somebody else build their team, or you be part of their team. So it's kind of interesting. Okay. I left this purposely up on the screen here to show you that if you are if you're selling freelance services, then you can offer your services. But if you're looking for freelancers to help build your business, then you can use this freelancing service here. And you click on here, and let's see if it works. I set my account up here for us, and then it kind of walks you through what you're looking for. So let's just say anything working on, like, okay, let's click that one and hit next. How many people? So let's say 2 to 10. Nice. What are you looking for today? I'm looking for a specific service. All right. I wish I can communicate to some of you out there that are watching to kind of navigate you through for you and to help you with this. But look, for me, when I first started, I was looking for. I'm pretty active in the houseware, storage, kitchen gadget space, coming up with new inventions, and I was looking for somebody to do more of like that understood the kitchenware, kitchen gadgety type of place. So I'm just going to skip over to here for example. Now I see, because last night I was looking, I see that they're charging, but there's a great website called Corafloat, Coroflot. And I found people that were, I guess, like I was looking for an industrial designer to make something, and I found industrial designers that work for major companies that were freelancers, and they were able to help me with their with their talent to be able to make, let's say, a prototype, even a CAD file, a CAD file, which is a computer generated file that I can take and I can upload to be able to make a prototype. And speaking of that, sure, I can hire a freelancer, or I can find somebody, even local these days, to be able to make a prototype for me, right? And that's kind of outsourcing too. Look, where one person, or you might have some people that are helping you and managing schedules and things like that. But, for us as inventors with ideas or businesses or services, whatever you have out there, you need to figure out a way to keep yourself moving forward. And I just, when I was preparing for this presentation, I didn't realize how many people that I use to get to where I need to go for many, many things. Right now, I'm currently working with a virtual assistant to be able to help me with my calendars and schedules on a daily basis and my reminders. I'm working with a social media marketing person. I'm working with a website designer. I'm working for a researcher to help me with kind of business plans. And look, a lot of times AI can end up helping us too, right? And that can come in handy, and that can save you cost, and you can keep it on your phone and walk around. But sometimes you need some extra help and extra attention, and relative to your budget is how you figure this out. What's interesting about freelancers, one point that I wanted to make, and maybe I'll talk about it during when I show you Fiverr. But a lot of times when people are calling themselves freelancers or virtual assistants, you can find some great quality people. You can find people that do amazing work. They're talented. They have the experience, and they're reasonable. And most of the time, they'll work within your budget. And it's like you're helping them, and they're helping you. And that's how a natural fit happens. And you build respect for each other to make that happen. I've gone through so many virtual assistants that say that they do something and then they didn't do it. And that's the frustrating part. So I'm going to also go through with you how to vet a virtual assistant, or even somebody as a freelancer, or somebody that you're going to be outsourcing. So I mentioned Coraflow because it used to be really strong with high talented people that are specific, and I think you could still go on here and navigate through. You should take a look at it, just jot it down for yourself, Corafloat. But let's just get back to Fiverr for a second. So Fiverr, I kind of called out here that it's ideal for a specific one-off project. So you can find somebody to make, let's say, the other day I needed a logo for a new platform that I'm launching, right? And I went on here. So let's go on here and let's do, what am I searching for? Oh, look at that. Popular right now, logo design. And you see some of the other ones that are here: website development, video editing, resume, virtual assistant. All right, well, let's click on logo design. Now, There are people from all over the world on these platforms. Obviously, we want to try to support as much as we can United States, right? US people and companies. Um, Sometimes their rates are reasonable and sometimes they're not. You have the option to work with people all over the world. So you can kind of filter who it is that you want. Now I'm looking here, and what type of design are you looking for? What's your style? And you can look and see that there's people here that are do minimalist designs, they do 3D type of looking, they do a little bit heavier. And while you're navigating through, you kind of just look and see what your style is or what you feel that would cater to your audience. You know, it's interesting, that comment. A lot of times people are coming up with ideas, they're coming up with a business, they're coming up with an invention. And a lot of times people are working on things that are specifically what they like and what's about them. But you almost have to think about who it is that you're talking to your customer. And is it a professional business or a product or a service? Or is it something more fun, a little bit more looser that you can kind of share the a little more freer, kind of like, more cartoony or graphicy. And those are the things that you kind of think about as you're coming up even with a logo design. So I'm going to go on here, for example, what looks good. Let's pick let's pick something like this. All right, let's do logo design. And I'm just going to show you how to filter through real quick. Logo options. All right, let's do the modern and hit apply. And what it's going to do is keep bringing down these results. There's a lot of people here. And then look, you can have new sellers, which could be extremely talented. Those are hit or miss. Top rated. They have Fiverr Pro also, which is another service that Fiverr offers, that are all top rated sellers that have good experience. But we're kind of navigating through here. So let's give some new sellers a shot. And then we go to budget. Well, I'm going to leave that alone, I think. But all right, let's do value. Let's do mid-range, $30 to $60. And then I'll hit apply and then delivery time. How quickly do I need this? Any time is okay. All right, here I am. I got all these things going on. But let's pick Amelia. All right, Amelia, you have 5 stars. You have 23 reviews. You have one order in queue, so hopefully you have some time for me if I did consider using you. Um, and I'm going through here and I see that Amelia has some packages. Um, okay, multi-logo concepts. I learned a little bit about this person. Everybody loves to see reviews, kind of going through and navigating through the reviews and getting an idea of what this person is about. I can click on here and take a look at some of the other work that Amelia does. And then there's a couple packages here, the basic package, standard package. And I'm just showing you based on logo, but it could be for anything. Maybe you need somebody to help you with a website design or a brochure, just different things. I mean, if you go on here, you see all the different categories: logo, web app design, industrial product design, games, right? Print design, whoops, digital marketing, right? If you want to do TikTok shop or Facebook ads and different types of marketing, video animation, writing and translation. I'm just going to zip through these real quick, but I just happen to pick logo to show you that how these services work. It's really interesting. There's so many people that are on these platforms. It's amazing. And you just need to vet and find the right ones, give them a shot, and test them out and be clear with what you're asking for. What colors do you want? What maybe you show an example of something that you've seen that you want similar for yours. And then what's your expectations on the deliverables? Be clear in your descriptions. This way you have good communication with who it is that you hire. And you might not just use them that one time. You might use them many times. And this Fiverr platform has been really successful for me. Some, not all the time, but for the most part, going through and vetting, just like anything that you do in your life. I say this a lot because for us as people that are entrepreneurs, startups, inventors, we are very excited about what we're doing, and we need to make good business decisions and do our due diligence and ask for references and make sure that we're on the right page and the same page of what people are doing to what we're looking for. I'm going to go to Upwork now. This is a great platform. And what I put here was it's good for long-term professional relationships, but it doesn't always have to be for long-term. It could be for short-term too. And it could be for one-off projects as well. And I like to kind of test out between these platforms to see what type of work people are doing, maybe what the best offer that I can get. Is the person who I'm connecting with responsive, receptive? Are they getting what I'm looking for? Can they maybe show me some samples similar to what I was thinking about? Even business plans, even somebody to help with launching a business, putting that business plan together, getting deeper into the financials. I've had people work on financials to put part of the business plan. People who could cold call for me, people who can answer a phone or to be able to handle emails. And I said earlier, like even for bookkeeping and all these things, you can find great people on these platforms. So Upwork, for example, is kind of similar to Fiverr. I feel like it's there's professional people that are on here also that could be freelancers, and maybe they have their own business that this is what they do for a living. But you can continue to find and build your team without having to build full-time people as well. And when you're booking on these platforms, sometimes I'll end up spending a good amount with the same person or multiple people. And when you're filling out as a business person at the end of the year, when you have taxes to do, it's kind of going through, you're paying from your business to this business, and they're taking care of the 1099s and all that for the freelancers on that side. So it also helps you without having to really worry about that side of it. But you can also hire a bookkeeper too to take care of that. But anyway, here's talent in the United States. And let's say I need somebody to do financial modeling. All right, I'm going to click on here and I can go through, and it's going to give me some people who have paid to be on top, and it's going to give me their qualifications on here, their job success. I'm going to look and see what kind of activity they do. So let's see, Stephen P. Let me see what you got, Mr. Stephen P. Oh, you're from the United Kingdom, but you're going to tell me about yourself. I'm going to look at your work history. I'm going to see the reviews that you've had. Oh, master's degree from Harvard. Not bad. I would continue to just keep looking and reviewing the skills of what I'm looking for. So I needed to build a WordPress website. I have a great person I've been working with for many, many years now, and I found her on one of these freelancing websites. So you can find people that the different stage of where you're at on these websites of what you're looking for, and you can build friendships and relationships along the way. So just kind of navigating through these. I don't want to get too heavy with all this activity, but I wanted to show you that you can find whatever you need. It's crazy. Anything that you need, there's somebody offering. And again, if you're offering a service, then you don't have to only look for talent here, but you might want to consider putting yourself on. And it's pretty good. You can keep track of the jobs that you are posting of who you need help from. You can also interview them on here. There's a Zoom feature that you keep it within the platform, and you make sure that the transaction goes through to be able to complete here. You could set milestones for different projects. You send money, and it stays in an escrow until the job is complete. You're satisfied and you accept and approve the job. So I feel like these type of platforms have done a really super job to be able to help us and find good talent that do have a track record, or maybe you are using somebody that's brand new and you're vetting their skills of what you need to help you with your business or your idea. There's even freelancer.com. I'm just showing you a couple other ones. There's guru.com. A lot of websites out there to be able to help, and some of them might be a little bit more techy. Other ones might be a little bit more on the professional side. Others might be more graphic heavy and social media heavy. I find that Fiverr, you can find a lot. I mostly use Fiverr and Upwork. Those have really helped me quite a bit. And then you just build relationships with them, like I said, and hopefully they stick around. Sometimes you might have to go through a few. You have to decide also when you're interviewing somebody, and I guess you do this with anybody, is you need to work with them. You need to make sure that you're going to have a good experience with them, and just kind of going through and finding that top talent. So I'm going to go to the next slide real quick. Make sure that you write effective job posts. You set clear requirements. I've mentioned these before. Do you prefer somebody US or international? Maybe you'll pay a little bit more for US, but you'll have an experience that you'd prefer to be able to speak to somebody, or maybe you'll find somebody local that you'll work with together. And then again, there's the international talent that you can find. Maybe they're less expensive. Um, Maybe you can find the right quality that you're looking for and be able to save some money there. And then also, what are considerations? Like, what is it that you would like them? What would you like them to do, or what are your expectations? That's kind of what I look at with considerations. And then red flags to watch out for. The other day, I had somebody that was helping me to make a logo, and I they were kind of pushing me to do the order, and they said they're going to do it right away because I wanted to get it done. I had a press release, I wanted to launch it, and they said, "Yeah, I'll get it done right away." But when, right? You want to be able to ask for when. What is the expectation? Because yeah, I'll get it done right away to you means the next day, but to that person, right away means a week, because usually it takes 2 weeks for that person to get done. So that's what I'm saying with considerations, expectations, and if you're disconnected, it turns into be a frustrating kind of engagement. So ask for, if they're pushing you, again, let me know what it is that you're delivering to me. Let me know that you're reaching certain milestones. Like if I set up an appointment with you and you're late, and we do it again and you're late, or you don't show up, or the communication gap is off, those are red flags to watch out for. Remember, you as a business owner, you're in control. And I say business owner, you're an inventor, you're an entrepreneur, you're a startup, whatever you are, you're in control, and you're the one that makes the decision. So when you're hiring and you're looking to outsource freelancers, VAs, whatever you call them, remember that you're the boss. And the toughest part is having to take a little bit off your shoulders to be able to give somebody a chance to get into your world. And that right there, that's the gold for me. And that kind of changed my life, because my shoulders got really heavy, and actually heavy enough that I just had shoulder surgery a couple of weeks ago. But I'm only kidding. I did have shoulder surgery, but not because it was heavy. I didn't carry anything heavy. Maybe I did enough push-ups to hurt myself. But the point that I'm making is that um, you want to be able to take some of the workload off yourself and be able to share it and open people up. So this morning I was working with my social media freelancer, and she pretty much got what I was looking to kind of promote out there, but it was still wrong. And we go back and forth until we come to some kind of agreement. Now, I always used to do that myself. I've let it loose a little bit to let somebody give a chance. And you know what? It takes a little bit more time sometimes for people to understand, but you have to be patient before you get frustrated and you fire them or you look for the next one. I did that for some time, and it's just because you're used to doing it by yourself. So getting through those first one or two or three freelancers for different things that you're building a team around, And again, you can start with these people as freelancers, part-timers, whatever again you want to call them, and they can actually turn into being full-time, part-time, or even full-time for you. And that's how I've kind of built my team, to know that they're there for me, they help me, they support me. I'm running my app. I have Andy, who does a fantastic job kind of working with my community in the Inventor Smart community app. There's so many things that are going on, and it's just great to be able to have that cushion and know that somebody's there for me. When I go and I do webinars, I have somebody that's managing kind of the operations, just like Kayla did when we first started here today. So going through and navigating these platforms could be a good way. You know what another great way is? Asking for referrals from people who have done it already. People ask me, "Hey, Brian, do you have somebody to help me run my Amazon store? Do you have somebody that can do my website or my packaging design, or help me to create a barcode, or to my book? Can you help me? Somebody else is creating a book. How do I get this book done? How can I be a self-publisher and work on the template? Can you help me to write blog posts? Can you do graphic design?" There's so many things along the way as being an entrepreneur, a business, that you're going to need help with. And that's the great thing also, is that we have the support of each other, and we have the support of free resources like Score that are available most likely right in your neighborhoods, or you find them online and you make the connection there, and you just continue to build out your business through the support and talent that's out there, whether it's free or things that you have to pay along the way. And I kind of went through this. I look at their portfolio. I look and I kind of ask them some interview questions, and these platforms allow you to ask these questions. I kind of see if they want to do some kind of test approach. I want to know their communication style. Are they receptive, responsive? I negotiate the rate, and hopefully you find somebody that can work within your budget. I'm going to zip through some of these. We've kind of gone through most of them already during my conversation, and I want to save some time for people to ask questions, and hopefully I can help. And I do have the freelancer websites up, the Fiverr and all those. Maybe I can help you too to navigate. But managing the remote team, again, setting clear expectations, the milestones, the payments, checking in. I have one freelancer that's working on a platform for me that I want to launch next month, and he's working with a platform that already exists. So it's a kind of a template platform, and I had him go in and set up the site for me. What I did was I created almost like a plan and go through step by step what I was looking to do. And I used AI. I use Gemini, I use Claude, I use ChatGPT. I compare different things. I take from one and work on the other. That's great these days also, is that we have almost like built-in uh, second brains for us, that things that we don't know to be able to pull out from there too. And I didn't necessarily have to hire somebody to create what I wanted, the person who's doing the web platform for me. But what I did was I kind of beat Claude up, which is part of Anthropic. Again, I'm really enjoying AI and experimenting with things, but it still needs your input, right? So I give it what I'm thinking about, and then it gives me back, and I give it more and beat it up until I find what I want. And then I'm like, here you go, Mr. Web setup person, you can now set this up for me. And while he's doing that, he's been sending me each day, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Here's some screenshots. I love that. This way I know what, and he's not even getting paid by the hour. He got a project um, milestone, which is fantastic. So you got to figure out what's best for you. So that's the documentation required, the time zone. So when I wake up, he's sending me something. He's already been working all night if he's overseas. If they're in California, I got a 3-hour time difference because I'm in New York. And there's tools for collaboration. I put here, I like to use, you want to stay within the platforms, but maybe there's another point where you don't, or you find somebody, or you're referred by somebody, that you could go outside the platforms. But I've used WhatsApp, Trello, Asana, Microsoft Teams. You find what's best for you to work, but within the platforms is great because it's also being monitored by the platforms themselves to make sure that you're being taken care of. All right, let's just go through protecting your business. Now, this comes up, well, somebody going to steal my idea. Well, it's up to you. I know again that you're emotional. Somebody tells you your idea is amazing. Keep going through it. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. Well, that's great. But an NDA is a non-disclosure agreement. And what that does is put people on notice that you're not going to disclose my idea to anybody without my permission. So having a non-disclosure agreement is good. You can have them sign. Most of the people that are within these platforms are under confidentiality, but I would say that I still ask for a non-disclosure agreement, especially like I'm involved in my inventions. So I don't, sometimes I might need somebody to do a patent search for me, or most of the time I have a patent attorney or agent that are under confidentiality already. But let's say I want somebody to research my invention for me before I start spending any money. So I'd have them sign a non-disclosure agreement and let them compare my idea to what's already existing out there. Or maybe I'm working with somebody to do research before I move forward. Like, okay, I have this business idea. Am I going to be different enough from what's out there? Is what I'm doing or what I'm thinking about doing, what is another company or other companies comparable? What are they doing and what's their niche? So those are things that I think about along the way. The platform, like I said, does have protections. Like if you say, call me or, meet me on something, it's like, hey, by the way, you have to stick within our guidelines. Otherwise, you're going to be banned or you're going to be suspended. So that's kind of important. And I mentioned the IP rights. Look, you want to make sure that you protect yourself. Try to get to a certain point before you start disclosing your idea, and definitely take advantage of a non-disclosure agreement. I'm sure Score has ones to offer, but I also have on my personal website, which is on the next page. You can pull it from my website. I offer a free NDA there that you can download. And then dispute resolution. So a couple logos back, this person just didn't do a good job. I felt like it was no disrespect, but clip art, and that's not what I was looking for. So I had one of the platforms get involved, and I put a dispute in, and the person said, you know what? I don't want any drama with Mr. Brian over here, so let me just give him his money back, and he just called it a day. So I like the dispute resolution. I like the escrow before while I'm working on it, that I can approve it before I get it delivered to me. So you have that extra layer of protection there from these platforms. All right. Well, I can go on and on. I was trying to limit it to as much as I can to get the information out to you and just give you a touch on some of these the way to build a team, to maybe find some people on the outside. And I'm active with, when people come to me, I I look at myself as resourceful, just like Score, right? You have the mentors that are available there, Small Business Development Center. There's all government agencies that have good resources that are great, but Small Business Administration. This is what we do. We have to dig, and we have to find people and companies that are there to help us and to support us and to work within our budget, and for us to let loose a little bit and be flexible and look at your budget and decide, can you continue to do this yourself? If you do this, then how much are you going to be able to do with the big picture? Well, for me, having that relief and the weight off my shoulders gives me a chance to do the bigger picture things that I want to do. So paying a little bit actually has helped me to be able to generate more revenue and work on my next big idea. And that's what I hope for you also. So I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for joining. You can go to my personal website, brianfried.com. I have my email address there. The M is missing at the end there. So it's brian at inventorsmart.com. That's my business email address. And I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, which I know that many people from Score are as well, because I had a chance to speak to a lot of people this morning before the webinar. But let's see what kind of questions you have.
Yeah, and we have quite a few questions, so go ahead and get
Oh,
started.
okay.
So you kind of just touched on this in one of the last slides, but lots of questions around security and protection of the ideas. Just
Yep.
as an example, if you are reaching out for a logo, do you require those designers to sign an NDA up front?
Well, everything is documented on the website that you're using. So let's say if I used Fiverr for my logo, I mean, the last logo I just did was a .com, right? So if I gave the logo designer my website .com, then I mean they're kind of making it for me. If you're going to use a name of a business, most likely you're you've done something before that, or maybe you're starting off with the logo first. Maybe you have them sign a non-disclosure agreement. For me, I'm okay. Like if I'm doing a .com logo, I know that I'm the only one that has the .com logo that I bought, so I don't have to worry really about it. And if I'm having somebody do a CAD design, an industrial design, maybe I need to work with an electrical engineer. Maybe I need to work with a marketing person to share my proprietary information before they start to compile all the information, then I'll have them sign a non-disclosure agreement. You know, for me as an inventor, um, especially in the beginning, I usually do like a patent search with a patentability opinion to see if it's an invention I can call my own. So I'm kind of protected there. But when I start to use engineers and prototypers, I usually have them sign a non-disclosure agreement before I file my provisional patent application, which gives you 1 year to call yourself patent pending before you file what's called the non-provisional patent application. So a lot of times you can file, or it could be a design patent. And those are the ways that I kind of protect myself along the way.
And this was from earlier in the presentation, but what is fractional? They've been hearing that term and are curious if it's just contract, part-time, or a freelance worker.
I guess there's a few different ways to look at it, but most likely they're working with many companies and they dedicate some time to working for you. So if you needed a fractional CMO, let's say chief marketing officer, they're going to dedicate 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever you agree on, to working on your business, and they're kind of somebody that has the experience and the capability. And again, it's kind of similar to a freelancer, but fractional means that they're going to dedicate some time to you on the time that you allocate with each other and come to terms with, and then set expectations again. What are you going to do for me? What are the results that we should get? How are we going to measure? How am I going to keep track? That's another big one. I don't know if that's one of the questions, but when you're working with somebody on the time, like time trackers are really important. So a lot of these platforms have time trackers that they take screenshots of where your freelancer is or what they're doing, that they're working, and it kind of keeps track of the time for them. And then at the end, when they kind of check out, you get your bill and you could see how much time they put into your project.
That's great. And kind of to carry on with that, with the vendors and freelancers, is it possible to search for them by location in any of the platforms that you showed?
Yes, they all. I'm pretty sure with Fiverr, I wasn't pulling it up, but I usually know where they're from. You can filter by even down to the state if it's somebody that you wanted to work with close. I went to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office last year. I'm thinking about this, and I needed somebody to video the experience that I had with National Inventor Club, which is one of the clubs that I run, and I wanted them to walk around with us in video. So I went on Upwork and I posted something. I need somebody to do video work for me in Alexandria, Virginia, on this and this date, and I had a few people respond. And I talked to them, I vetted them, I asked what their rates were, show me some of the videos that you've done and the editing, and that just had a good conversation, and I hired somebody, and I hired him twice. So yes, you can filter through and get right down to who you need. And if you're looking for a specific region or state or city, you can probably put that. But obviously, the more narrow you get, the less you'll probably get to return. Another thing also, which kind of drives me crazy when I'm posting things, is that everybody's got these AI generated responses. So in my response, in my posts, I put humans only. I only look at responses of people that actually spend a few minutes to apply for my job. If you're just copy pasting what I did into GPT and then saying that you're qualified, it frustrates me. I don't know if it frustrates other people too, but I love AI stuff, but not when it's again, not when it's at me. So,
Yeah.
okay,
And a lot of questions about using a freelancer for a logo. So once they design the logo, do you then own it? And do you go through the process of copywriting it?
sure, I do. All the above. When somebody is creating the logo for you, and again, I'm not an IP intellectual property attorney by any means, but I've done enough work along the way with this. Um, you're you're basically hiring somebody, work for hire, and you own the intellectual property, and you can make it clear also. You can also have something written up that anything that you do, any improvements that you do, are mine, and that's what I'm paying you for. So I do have work for hire type of contracts sometimes. A lot of these you can look in the Q&A and just confirm that they do, and if they don't, how they handle it. So, or you can speak to your you can speak to a legal advisor on that. Um, and what was the other question part of that, Kayla?
Do you pay to copyright
Oh,
it after it's been
I
created?
do. It's amazing. You can use your logo for a trademark when you're eventually going to use it in commerce. That's called intent to use. Or you can file already being used in commerce with your logo to show that you're already selling it across state lines and that it's active out there. That's when your TM, your trademark, turns into an R, registered mark, when you file with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the trademark division. And then copyrights. You could go to copyright.gov. I'm pretty sure that's the straight up website, and it's really inexpensive to copyright. So I encourage it. I think those are good. You could copyright, you could trademark the name that you come up with or the slogan that you come up with. So I know that one of the previous webinars that I've done with SCORE, I had the Commissioner of Patents and the Commissioner of Trademarks on, so you can reference one of the previous SCORE events that I did for that information, and it'll definitely be helpful. It was amazing.
We are getting a lot of questions about the slides and the recording. That will be sent out to everyone that registered for today. So
Great.
after we have the presentation, that will go out in the post emails. Um, one more question. Do you recommend AI to assist with outsourcing?
With outsourcing, I mean, I've worked AI for business plans, for websites, for video scripts. You have to do a good job putting in what you want to get it out. Otherwise, it turns out to be generic. So dig. And sometimes even when I write a press release and then I put it into Chat GPT, for example, and it gives it back to me. I like this, but I don't like this word. You know what? These days, like you see unlock, unleash, delve, dive. Like when I see those type of words, I know that it's coming from Chat GPT. But I'm just saying, like, you got to keep like respectfully beating it up to get it to where you want. And I think it's a tremendous tool. You just have to be patient and use it and read over what you put on it. These slides, I worked with Claude, which is Anthropic's AI, to be able to give me the information for these slides. And I wanted to mention that when I was going through this. So, and I see here also, like in the questions, like 99 designs, like, yeah, you can find all these things that can help you along the way. And yes, they'll require payment up front. I think somebody put that there. And you want to be able to, like, you got to find the one that works for you. And that's the risk that you take. That 99 designs, I think, is like $99, or you pay more to get more service. But yeah, just look through and navigate all these freelancers that are pooling in these type of websites, and make a decision. But hopefully we went through some vetting to be able to help you to make better decisions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing this valuable information with SCORE's audience today. And with that, we'll go ahead and close out today's webinar. Take care, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Good luck, everyone.